Oh, since I joined the Volvo Ocean Race, summer 2016, there were two different missions, as I saw it. One was to get the 17-18 race in place. There was not a lot in place at that time in terms of the team, certainly, and look forward to an exciting and high-value race for all its stakeholders in 17-18. But in parallel to that was to, with the leadership team, establish a strong leadership team that didn't depend on me, most of all, and develop with them a strategy for the next decade. We've worked very well, I think, together on both those parallel missions. Not been easy to balance both the time on both of those, to be honest, for everybody concerned. On the first one, it's been a bit of a struggle, to get everything together for 17-18. I don't think anyone else would say otherwise. But we have, in the end, genuinely a great lineup with a depth of quality of sailor that I haven't seen in the race for a long time. A race village which is being built around us here in Alicante at the moment, which I think will be second to none and responds to some of the requests from our stakeholders, about the premiumness and the level of the race village. Sporting level, second to none, and hopefully a lot of other extra things, getting more people sailing, a lot of business value that we've added back into the race, which was really important, alongside the sporting credibility and going back to Southern Ocean and mixed teams. There's bunches of stuff, and I'm really proud of what the team's done on that side of it. At the same time, we have had to develop the next decade. We brought a lot of stakeholders with us. We got to May and then June with a second set of announcements with a huge, ambitious plan, which I felt was the necessary way to go forward, a big, bold, ambitious plan. We've got everybody on board, Volvo included, to do that. But the reality of this behind the scenes is that other dozens of decisions and approvals and steps to jump through to make sure that ambitious plan then stay on track. And it was a plan that had a very tight timing, and we couldn't afford to miss any of those hurdles, or not actually getting things signed one step by one step. And ultimately, I failed to get all those steps done in the right timing. And so today we're faced with a situation where we're unable to proceed, in particularly with the tooling and with the new monohull. We had a time frame. That delay ultimately means we can't go forward with the 2019 race in new boats. The whole overall strategy isn't being questioned by Volvo. Their commitment to the race isn't being questioned. They're very excited about this race and have more plans, more activation, more things going on than they've ever had before. And so I think there's a genuine excitement and commitment to the race going forward. But we just couldn't move some of the processes and the steps forward in the same timeline that we needed to be able to guarantee that we would have a great race in 2019 with boats actually finished and on the start line. I'm gutted about that. I'm very disappointed about that. For me, the 2019 part of it was fundamental to the strategy, in the sense that in order for it to work without any question, for us to be first place, perhaps first time with more demand than supply even for a race in 2019. And on a personal front, I don't think I'm the person to be able to carry what will be a new timing plan forward, with a longer time scale. But that's very different, saying that strategy isn't going to work or the strategy's been dropped. It hasn't been. The support is there, I think, from everybody to go forward with a plan at least similar to the one that was announced. But the timing will need to be different, and someone else will come with that timing, see it through. And I think the Volvo Ocean Race has moved forward. Volvo have moved forward in their understanding of the race, and there's a very, very bright future for it. But it's going to be on a different timeline. It's one that personally, and that means also from a family and the sacrifices that go into delivering this kind of thing, it's not one that I feel capable of being the person at the front and shouldering that responsibility for. But there'll be someone else doing that, and I will support them, and I am not leaving this race until that person's in place. And as has been said many times, we've built a leadership team here which is second to none, and a talented team in Alicante here that are very dedicated and going to be delivering an amazing 2017-18 race, which we're very, really proud of the progress that's been made. Well, I'm looking forward to see the calibre of the racing, to be honest. I think the depth of sporting talent we have in this race, a little bit of something unexpected even, but everything, from the young medalists and straight from Rio, a lot of young sailors, way more than the rules require. Mixed teams, which is a fairly bold step for us to make as a race to incentivise that. World-class talent from all different parts of sailing, America's Cup winners and other America's Cup sailors, and a little bit surprising, the veteran sailors that have been away for 2-3 editions and have come back. You know, that's fantastic, and I genuinely excited to see what happens on the water. It's going to be, I think, an interesting match. It's going to be people at different levels of experience and competitiveness, but it's, you know, one design levels the playing field in a big way, and it's going to be a very interesting thing to see. For me, though, the sporting side on its own has never been enough. You know, the constraint of all sailing events and all mechanical sports is funding. So balancing that increase in sporting value with commercial value is very important, and I'm excited to see what we put in place, you know, both in race village, public experience, and the experience for guests of sponsors, getting more people out sailing, experiencing the sport firsthand in high performance sailing boats. One way or another, that's going to be a big step up, I hope, for the race. The final part is we made a big switch for this race. We have got, you know, our strategy is digital first. Traditional media to spread the word of the race is still very important to us, but that switch to a digital first strategy and an incredible team we've got here, trying to ways to share the content from the boats, encourage the boats to share more content in a raw form, get it out into digital platforms as soon as possible in different ways. I'm really excited to watch how that's going to unfold during this race.